Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I kind of wanted to talk about something that I don't know if I'm the only one that's experienced this, and I know the answer is probably not, but I was talking to my family friend the other day about spirits when it comes to animals, and when our animals pass away, how we tend to continue seeing them. And I used to think that maybe it was a part of the grieving process of not being able to let go of our animal. As I have come to find out and have experienced myself, that is not necessarily the case. Grab your matcha, grab some good grub. I got my protein smoothie today. It's really good. I put oat milk and then strawberry, a banana, and protein powder because after this video I actually gotta zoom out the door and go to the ballet theater to do some like marketing volunteering. So without further ado, let's just jump right into animal spirits and animal ghosts, because that's something that's not necessarily talked about. So first and foremost, I think I have to preface this by saying that I have always had animals growing up. My family has always loved animals. My mother grew up on a farm, and she was under the assumption that animals shouldn't be pets until she got her first dog, and then she completely fell in love. So I remember every time one of our animals passed away, we would get another one because that was another animal that needed our assistance. And we never were the type of people that like, oh my god, the grief and the pain of losing an animal steered us away from getting another one. Like, we would immediately get another one because our house was now missing a family member. So we would see that as an opportunity to adopt an animal or get one and give it the best life we can. So given that, my family members are all alike, and my aunt had this beautiful, 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 lifelong, lived very, very like old standard poodle, and that was her baby, and his name was actually Baby. So my aunt absolutely took Baby everywhere. That was her dog. It was always by her side. And he started to get, old, as one does. And he had to unfortunately be put down. And he lived such a full and long life. He went, I think, blind or deaf. I can't quite remember, but he got to the point where he was getting very frail and sick. And so she made the difficult decision to say goodbye. And my aunt was devastated. Like, I can't even begin to describe to you. That was like, out of all the animals she's ever had, that was her baby. Literally, Baby the baby, right? So shortly after, I remember my sister and I, we ended up sleeping over. And we slept over because my aunt likes to have like little girl nights where she invites my sister and I, and we'll watch like a Netflix movie while her kids, my cousins, are in their game room, and we like to like, have some good grub and just, have a really nice girls' night. I remember my sister and I were sleeping in the guest room after the movie had ended, and out of nowhere we heard Baby bark. Both my sister and I heard it, and I was like, Trent, did you hear that? And she legit heard it. And I was like, oh my god, like, he's still around. And that morning, I was the first one to wake up, of course, so the house is very quiet. And I go downstairs and I literally heard Baby's nails on the floor. And I couldn't see him though. And I was like, oh my goodness, like, Baby? That was crazy. And I remember telling my aunt and my uncle, and they're like, yeah, like, we hear it too. And then slowly but surely, sure enough, it dissipated. Like, it stopped. And that conjured up a memory of my childhood dog. His name's Paquito. I remember there was an instance when I was younger where I was having really, really bad like stomach pain. It was so bad that my family had to like rush me to the emergency room because they were scared that it was appendicitis or my appendix bursting. So I remember before they took me to the hospital, I was on the couch in absolute pain. And I remember my childhood dog, Paquito, hearing him bark and my whole family heard it. And we're like, and it was in that moment that my parents knew something very severe was like happening to me. So then they rushed me to the hospital. And the funny thing was that at that point in time, that childhood dog had been dead for like a few weeks or months. I can't recall how long, but he had been dead. So that was really trippy. So to me, I was thinking that perhaps he came back because he was like my guardian and was trying to warn my parents that, oh my gosh, Alex is really in pain, like do something basically. So that was something that I was very astonished to witness, but I'm not the only one that has witnessed it. And recently, my beloved baby angel Cornelius passed away, and it's been such a weird grieving process, to say the least. A bunny is like a mix of a cat and a dog, honestly. Like, they're amazing animals, and he was like my sidekick. I took him everywhere. We would go to the coffee shop together. We would literally go to the park together. He'd run errands with me. He would go to the psychedelic like crystal shop with me. Everyone knew him, everyone loved him, and he passed away. So I still have everything that I had from when Cornelius was still around, because I do hope to adopt another bunny, but for the time being, I'm feeling it all. So the thing is, shortly after Cornelius passed away, I remember I was downstairs with my mother, and we still had the room divider up due to the fact that we had a senior dog at the time as well, and we needed to divide the room so she didn't fall down any stairs. And so the way we would do it was we would divide one part of the house, and that was like Cornelius's area, and then we put the room divider, and then the other area was like the kitchen, which is where we kept our senior dog. So that way we could like watch over her. And Cornelius did not like the room divider. He actually learned how to jump over it. Very rarely, but he would try to climb it and jump over it. He was crazy and the most stubborn bunny ever, but I loved him the same. So I remember that this room divider is like a really cool design. It's wooden, and it was like made in India. I got it at, I think, Home Goods. And so I love that room divider, but when Cornelius would try to climb it, his nails would go like on it, and we'd be able to hear it. So I remember shortly after he passed away, I was sitting downstairs on the steps talking to my mother, and ever so slightly I began to hear, right? And I continue speaking to my mother because I'm thinking maybe I'm just imagining things, like that can't be so, right? So I'm talking to my mom, and she kind of makes the face, the did you hear that face? And I swear we both got quiet, and we literally could hear right next to us, right? So I'm like, Mom, do you hear that? And she's like, shh, yeah, yeah. And I had been having like a very difficult conversation with her. I forgot what it was about, but I was like crying, and then we started to hear Cornelius, and my mom was like, you know, Mija, like I still feel like he's here with us, you know, don't cry, Mija, like he's, you know, probably upset to see his mommy upset. And I was like, yeah, like what the heck? But yeah, we began to hear his little nails. And the creepy thing is that the room divider was right next to me. Like, it was right next, open by the steps, and I'm just looking at it in disbelief because I hear it but I don't see it. Wild, right? So another instance, I was actually going down the stairs, and tell me why I saw my bunny hopping away. Like, he took like 3 little hops and then disappeared. Like, he was not hopping towards me, he was hopping away from me. So I saw like the back of his head, his little ears up, and I remember just looking at it like, corn? Like Cornelius? And he legitimately disappeared right before my very eyes. And I couldn't believe it. I legit could not believe it. And I was just so happy and in awe, and just, my baby didn't leave me. Like, he just transitioned his form. And I don't know, I think that's why I don't get too entirely sad about death. Well, there's one death that like is really hard for me, but every other death I'm just kind of not, I wouldn't say indifferent towards, but what I continue to revisit is the fact that these animals tend to reveal themselves when you're distraught. At least that's in my experience, what I've tended to notice. And I don't know if that has happened to you guys. Like, have you lost an animal and then you start seeing it and you're thinking maybe it's because you're processing or in the grieving process, right? But no, this is not it. Like, this has happened to me and my family when we've lost our animals, and it's just, I don't know how to describe it other than the fact that you just know. And I kind of want to end that off with, I've spoken to one of my best friends about it, and she's a Reiki healer. She's really good with energies, super spiritual, just as I am. And I was talking to her about this, like, oh my goodness, I saw corn, I saw this, I saw that, right? And she told me that when her cat Lucy had passed away, she actually remembers that in the hallways, even for a swift moment, her family members and her would still see the cat. And she said that it was so, like, special because they would even see, like, the tail, even if it was just the tail, like going into like a doorway or things like that. So it began to it persisted until one day it just stopped. So I don't know if it's because animals are of such a pure love that they don't have as much difficulty revealing themselves to us. I don't know why, but it seems to me that it seems so out of thin air for them to reveal themselves to us. But it doesn't ever creep me out. I don't ever get creeped out when, you know, we hear literally the barks of, or the echoes of the animals that have passed. So let me know if that is something that you've experienced. I know this one was kind of like a short one, but I wanted to share that nonetheless because I don't see many videos talking about ghost animals or your ghost pets. But I don't know, let that be kind of comforting to know that they are not yet gone. And yeah, leave a comment down below if you have any experiences that you would like to share. Let me know if you would like me to share one of your paranormal experiences via my Instagram. You can DM me on there. Like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to keep up with me and my little ghost endeavors. And thank you so much for your continuous support and love. I cherish you guys more than you'll ever know. Thank you for staying by my side and just being so patient. I love you guys very much. Stay strong and safe, and if you see a little ghost, don't get too freaked out. See you guys later.